Welcome back to the live Wicked Hangout stream. Today we are going to be continuing with Adam Montgomery case. The overarching story is that he's a 34-year-old father of 3 from New Hampshire. His 5-year-old daughter Harmony was reported missing in November 2021 by her biological mother, Crystal. Her mom had lost custody of her due to substance use. Crystal claimed she had not seen Harmony since a FaceTime call on Easter 2019, so it had been about 2 years since she had been missing before she was even reported. It's alleged that Adam Montgomery harmed Harmony and disposed of her with the help of his then-wife, Kayla. Harmony's body has not been found, so that also makes this trial interesting in that they are trying to convict Adam without a body, which tends to be difficult, but depending on the evidence presented, it definitely can be done. Also, apparently, the defendant, Adam, has chosen not to attend court thus far, so we'll see if at any point he does make an appearance. A lot of times the judge, will not allow the defendant to do such, but in this case, the judge allowed him not to attend, simply probably because he doesn't want to face what he's being charged with. So today we are going to go over 6 different testimonies of some eyewitnesses and people that have come into contact either with Adam or Harmony in the past. First, we are going to start with a foster parent that had Harmony for a period of time. Then we'll hear from Harmony's mom and then a few others. So, without further ado, let's get started and first listen to the foster mother that cared for Harmony.
Michelle Raftery, Raftery.
And what's your date of birth, Ms. Raftery?
9/11/70,
Where do you currently live?
Haverhill, Massachusetts.
And how long have you lived there?
In Haverhill, about 25 years.
Who do you live there with?
My husband and 3 of my children.
And what's your husband's name?
Timothy.
And your children? What
The
are
ones
their
that are home?
ages?
Oh, their ages?
Yes.
Ben's 25, Jaden is 14, and Claire is 13.
And do you have children that live with you?
Those are the ones that live with me. Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a behavioral health partner
And how long have you done that?
for a year.
Prior to that, what did you do for a living?
I was a FRL, a family resource liaison.
And can you explain what that is to the jurors?
Yes, I work with foster parents and I help support them and run support groups and trainings for them.
Do you have any experience as a foster parent yourself?
Yes, I do. Over 13 years.
And can you tell the jury about that experience?
Yes, we had the privilege of being Harmony's foster parents.
And you mentioned the name Harmony just now.
Yep.
Who is she to you?
She was our foster daughter.
What did she call you?
Mama.
Your husband, Tim, what did she call him?
She called him Dada and Papa.
You said that you'd been a foster parent for 13 years?
Yep.
What point in that timeline, those 13 years, did you take Harmony in?
Probably halfway through. Probably halfway through the years. Yep. So she came to us at 2014.
And tell us about that.
Yep. So you always start off, you get a phone call from DCF and they tell you a little bit about the child. And Harmony was 2 months old at the time. And she had a pretty intimidating diagnosis at first. So, I did a lot of Google research, but I still knew that we wanted to say yes. And Harmony came and lived with us when she was 2 months old.
Pretty intimidating. What were you told about Harmony before?
So we were told that she has hydroprocephaly, which is like a disorder with her brainstem. And we were told that she was legally blind in both eyes and that she probably wasn't going to live 7 months.
I'm sorry, can you say that last thing?
Yeah, that she probably wasn't going to live past 7 months old. Hydroprocephaly was the original first diagnosis.
You mentioned this blindness.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about that?
So at that time, she had a whole team of doctors, and she was considered legally blind in both eyes. However, I started to notice when I would feed Harmony that she would track me with one of her eyes, at least one of her eyes. And, then we went on to get different diagnoses for her.
You mentioned having Harmony since she was 2 months old.
Yes.
What was Harmony's date of birth?
6/7/14.
June 7th, 2014.
That's correct.
What kind of child was Harmony Montgomery?
She was a loving child. She was very sweet, very happy. She was super social. She loved to be with people. We used to joke around with her to leave a sparkle wherever she went, because wherever she went, she left people happy, and you knew that you met her.
How long was Harmony in your care for?
So, which time? We took care of Harmony 3 times. She came back into care 3 times. So for the first time, she was with us for about 2 months. Then she returned to her mother, and then she returned to us. And then she stayed with us for about a little over 2.5 years. And then she went back with her mother, and then came back 10 months later.
You mentioned these disabilities.
Yes.
Was Harmony developmentally delayed?
She was not. It definitely could have been a possibility. She started off with that original diagnosis, and through going through testing, she had a neurologist, endocrinologist, ophthalmologist, and we had a whole team of specialists that worked with her, and they changed the diagnosis to septo-optic dysplasia.
And were you taking any steps when she was in your care to treat her needs?
Yeah, absolutely. Harmony had, like I said, a team of doctors, but she also had early intervention workers. So she had 2. She had a nurse that came weekly, and she had a vision specialist that came weekly, and we did all the treatments and the programs that she needed with that.
Was she meeting benchmarks at that time?
She was meeting every benchmark. She was succeeding, yeah.
Ms. Rafferty, when was the last time you saw Harmony Montgomery?
The last time I saw Harmony was December of 2018.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing the witness what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 97. Ms. Rafferty, do you recognize this?
I do.
I'm going to get close to a microphone so I can pick that. What is this?
That's the day that they were doing school pictures, and she wanted to have a sparkly blue dress.
And do you recognize the person that's depicted in this picture?
Yes.
Who is it?
It's Harmony Montgomery.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of Harmony as you remember her?
Yes.
Your Honor, this one I need to admit as State's Exhibit 97.
All right, the ID is stricken. It's entered as a full exhibit.
I move to publish at this
You
point.
may
Your Honor.
publish it.
Mrs. Rafferty, do you know someone named Adam Montgomery?
I do. Yes.
How do you know him?
He was Harmony's biological father.
Would you recognize the defendant if you saw him again?
Absolutely.
Your Honor.
You may.
From the defendant in marked identification of State's Exhibit 101.
Yes, you may.
Ms. Rafferty,
Yes.
do you recognize this item?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is?
It's Adam Montgomery.
And Your Honor, at this point, sorry, is this
It's
a fair
a picture. Yes.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of Adam Montgomery as you remember him?
Yes.
I move to Marcus Bull, Your Honor, to strike ID and Marcus Bull, State's Exhibit 101.
Any objection? No objection, and we agree with that motion. Thank you. The ID is stricken. It's entered as a full exhibit.
And I move to publish it at this
You
point.
may publish it.
Ms. Rafferty, was
I'm sorry, Attorney Knowles, would you return the exhibits back to the table when you're done with them, just so that everything remains there, unless you're going to use it shortly
Absolutely.
again? Thank you.
Miss Rafferty, was Harmony potty trained when she was in your care?
Yes, she was. She started at our house and then she finished when she moved back with her mother.
And how old would she have been at that point in her life?
So at 2.5, going on 3, she was potty trained.
What steps did you take to, you said she started at your house. What
Yeah.
steps did you take to potty train her?
Harmony was very easy to potty train. She didn't like to have, soiled clothes on, and she wanted to be like the bigger kids that were in our house. So she would tell us it was pretty much Harmony potty trained herself.
You mentioned her mother. Do you know
Yes.
her name?
Yes,
Can you tell the jurors?
yes, it's Crystal Sorey.
And you said that Crystal Sorey finished her potty training.
Yes,
Did Harmony return to your care after that?
she did. Yes,
And after Harmony returned to your care, did she have any bathroom accidents?
absolutely not.
If I could have just a moment, Your Honor.
And how long was the most recent time how long was she with you the last time she was placed with you?
About 10 months.
Okay. And from being placed with you for about 10 months, she went to another foster care?
Yes,
And you felt like she had more needs than you could deliver, so she went to a therapeutic foster care.
no,
Miss Kumba? That's not?
I don't know that other foster parent.
Ah, okay. So she didn't go to therapeutic foster care?
She went to another foster home.
Okay. Not a therapeutic one?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Had you asked that she be placed in a therapeutic foster home?
No,
Okay. She left your home for another foster home for what reason?
it's a long story. Co-parenting a child that has trauma, first of all, is very difficult. Co-parenting a trauma with DCF involvement and co-parenting with them is extremely difficult.
Okay. So Harmony was placed with you 3 times, and that last time she was then placed to a therapeutic foster home.
She was placed in another foster home, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I
Yep.
did speak. She went to another foster home.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, no further questions for this witness. I ask that she be excused.
Any objection? All right. You may step down and
Thank
you are
you.
excused.
All right, that wraps up the foster parents' testimony. Now we're going to hear from Harmony's biological mother next.
And Miss Sorey, what town do you live in?
I live in Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
How long have you lived there?
A year and 5 months.
And how far did you go in school?
I didn't graduate high school.
I'd like to ask you about a specific day, June 7th, 2014. What significance, if any, does that day have for you?
It was the day my daughter Harmony was born.
And Harmony was a girl, correct?
Yes.
Have you had any other daughters besides Harmony?
No.
And what was her full name?
Harmony Renee Montgomery.
Same middle name as you.
Yes.
What was her medical condition when she was born?
She was blind in her right eye. She was misdiagnosed twice before that. Just blind in her right eye.
And after about 3 months after she was born, who did she go to live with?
Michelle Rafferty.
And do you know Michelle?
Very well.
Why did she go to live with Michelle?
I am a recovering drug addict. I was struggling at the time, handling her diagnosis. I was struggling.
Is it fair to say that who you are now in 2024 is different than who you were in 2014?
Very.
In March of 2016, were you able to obtain custody of Harmony again?
Yes.
Okay. Where did the two of you live?
First, when she reunified, I was at Casa Esperanza in Roxbury. It was a reunification program, but you could only progress so much there. So then we moved to Ruth Kelly Umi's house on the other side of Roxbury, Dorchester.
Okay. When the two of you were living together, how was Harmony?
Amazing, rambunctious, very smart. By the time she was 2, she could tell you her whole life story.
She was talkative?
Yes. People didn't believe she was 2.
When you got custody and were reunified with Harmony in those two places, did you work and finish potty training with Harmony?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
And how did she take to that?
She did very well, honestly. I was kind of surprised. She was just really excited to be a big sister. Her brother had diapers, and I told her, babies wear diapers, and you're not a baby anymore, you're a big sissy. So she was right on it, and she did so well.
In September and then October, I know you were reunified in March of 2016. In September and October of 2018, did she go to live again with Michelle Rafter?
Yes.
And when she left then, that would be the fall of 2018, how old was she?
2018. 3. I believe 3, almost 4.
Yeah, basis?
It's leading and
Your Honor, I believe the question was, how old was she in the fall of 2018?
Objections overruled.
Thank you. So she was born in 2014, is that correct?
She was 4, yes.
Okay, so she was 4 in 18.
Yes.
And was she fully potty trained when she left you?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, who was Harmony's birth father?
Adam Montgomery.
And how did you meet him?
Through a mutual friend.
Was he living with you when Harmony was born?
No.
Were the two of you living together when Harmony went to live with the Rafteries?
Never.
Did you ever have any other children with Adam Montgomery?
No.
At some point in 2019, who got custody of Harmony?
Adam.
Where was Adam living at the time?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Do you remember what street he was living on?
Guilford Street.
And is that where Harmony was as well?
Yes.
What, if any, visits did you have with Harmony after she went to live with Adam Montgomery?
I had 2 physical visits with her. And then I had 2 FaceTime calls, both very brief.
The physical visits, where did you visit her?
Excuse me. Guilford Street.
Did you visit with her outside the home or inside the home? Or
Inside the home.
Inside the home. Did you see where her room was?
No. He never showed me.
When you say he, who is he?
Adam never showed me. I was only allowed in the living room or the bathroom.
How did you communicate with Adam at that time?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah. He wouldn't give me his number.
When did you last see Harmony?
April
April of
2019.
April of 2019.
Yeah, right before Easter.
How did you see her?
Oh, I was doing a Facebook video call. That was how I had job training, so I couldn't do a physical visit that week because I didn't know my schedule.
You said that was before Easter, is that correct?
Yes,
Did you see her on Easter?
yes,
Were you able to see her after that?
no.
What did you try to do to be able to see her or talk to her after that?
I just kept reaching out to Adam and Kayla and, asking, begging them to let me see her. And I was sorry for whatever I did. I wasn't even sure what I did. But I was just trying to reach out to really anybody at that point, his family, his grandmother, his uncle, his dad, anybody.
Let me ask, did you try to reach out through the months of May and June?
Yes,
What about in July?
I believe so.
Did you receive any phone call from Kevin Montgomery, Adam's uncle, in July?
Yes,
I'm not going to go into the detail of what was said, but after that call, did you continue these efforts you talked about before, trying to get in touch with Adam?
yes,
And what about September of 2019? Were you trying to get in touch with Adam then?
yes,
What about October and November of 2019? Were you trying to get in touch with Adam then?
yes,
Christmas of 2019?
yes,
In touch with him then?
yes,
Were any of those successful?
no,
Did you see or hear from Harmony at all during that time period?
no,
What about in the year 2020? Did you continue to try to find and get in touch with Harmony or Adam?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
No problem. What about the following year, in the year 2020? Did you try to get a hold of Adam and Harmony?
Yes, I had made a new Facebook hoping, because he had blocked me and so did Kayla, I was hoping to get through to him that way.
Did you try also through 2021?
Yes,
By December of 2021, what else were you doing to try to find Harmony
I was,
to respond?
calling DCF. I was, telling my therapist, talking to anybody that I knew was either a mandated reporter or had some type of leverage because I wasn't getting anywhere. I had wrote also to the mayor.
And in December of 2021, did you have any meetings with the Manchester Police Department?
I'm sorry.
Yep. In December of 2021, did you meet with the Manchester Police Department about trying to find Harmony?
Yes,
And with regards to that, did you provide them with any permissions to try to get more information to help find Harmony?
I signed whatever they needed me to sign.
Did any of that include medical authorizations for medical records?
Yes,
Did you provide a DNA swab for them?
twice.
Did you provide permission for them to look at your Facebook account?
Yes,
Did you provide permission for them to find out where you had been living and contact those places to confirm your dates there?
yes,
So I'm going to show you what's been marked Stacy's of it.
For identification? That, I'm sorry, that's cool. Thank you.
You recognize this person?
yes. Adam Montgomery.
This is the person that you were trying to get hold of.
Yes,
97.
That's my girl. That's Harmony.
In fall of 2018, she went up to you know, she was going to school.
When she was with Michelle, she was, but not after. No. When she went with Adam, she never went to school.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if we could applaud. Ms. Sori, I just have one last question for you. With regards to all of those communications that you talked about through 2019, 2020, 2021, trying to get a hold of Adam Montgomery or Harmony, for any of those, were you ever able to speak with Harmony?
No.
Looking at just a moment. I'll clarify, I'm sorry, the last time that you saw her, I believe your testimony before was April of 2019?
Yes.
So it was not around Thanksgiving time of 2019?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions for you, so I leave the council to you.
I'll pull it out after this. I'll pull it out after this because I only have a couple of questions. And it sounds like Harmony was a lovely child and a joy. Is that right?
Yes.
And you described on direct her getting potty trained and you comparing her to her brother.
Yeah.
Your son.
Yes.
And I think she loved being a big sister to her brother, your son.
Yes.
Right. And you described how old Harmony was in September of 2018, I think. Harmony was not living with you at that time. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
That wraps up Harmony's mom's testimony. We're going to listen next to just a short, quick testimony from a nurse that had interactions with Harmony in a hospital setting. And it's interesting because the fact that it was 2 years between Harmony's mom not seeing her and then her being reported missing is really shocking. And I didn't realize that Crystal, Harmony's mom, also had another child herself. So I know that she had a lot going on in her personal life, especially with her substance issues as well. So it's understandable her dealing with her own internal struggles and demons as well. But for it to be 2 years is really shocking. And to hear that she was going all these other routes just seems like maybe, you know, it sounded like she just didn't know what to do and how to get through. And, you know, I guess from her perspective, it seems like there was no reason for her to think that Harmony just wasn't with her father, Adam, safely. And it was more just from her perspective, maybe Adam just being controlling at that point.
You may sit down.
Ms. Travers, do you live in the state of New Hampshire?
Yes, I do.
How long have you lived here?
Approximately 20 years.
20 years. And currently, where do you work?
I work for a Catholic Medical Center in Manchester.
What do you do for them?
Currently, I work as a nurse practitioner.
And how long have you been working as a nurse practitioner for them?
I've been working about 5 years as a nurse practitioner.
And prior to that, were you also working for CMC in a different capacity?
Yes, I was working as a registered nurse.
Let me ask you, at any point were you assigned to work at the affiliate for Catholic Medical Center, the urgent care in Bedford?
Yes,
And I'd like to direct your attention specifically to June 2nd of 2019. Did you take vital signs from a child named Harmony Montgomery that day?
yes,
And as part of those vital signs, did you measure and record her weight?
yes.
How much did Harmony Montgomery, the patient that you saw that day, weigh when you saw her on June 2nd of 2019?
I don't recall the actual number.
Let me ask, with regards to those, when you measured her weight, did you record that information somewhere?
I would record it in the electronic health records.
Okay. And with regards to the electronic health records, when do you record that? So,
Generally, it's done in the room with the patient.
so right then and there, while you're with the patient, you're recording that?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you had a chance to look at those records, do you think that looking at those records might help refresh your recollection as to what the weight was that you took on that day?
If I could look again, I could remember the number. Yeah, that'd be great.
You want to approach page 4822? Do you recognize that to include the medical records that you entered that day?
Yep, it has my name right there.
Okay.
And
And I'm about to say, I'm going to have you go ahead and take a look at it for a moment. And when you're ready, just look back at me. I'm going to ask you what her weight was.
okay.
And does that, looking at that, does that help refresh your recollection of the weight?
Yes.
Okay. And how much did Harmony Montgomery weigh in June of 2019 when you measured her?
35.20.
35.20. And are those grams, those pounds? The
I'm sorry, I didn't
35.20.
look at that. I apologize.
That's all right. I'm sorry. The 35.20, is that pounds? 35 pounds? Or 35.20 pounds, I should say.
I didn't actually see that it said pounds on there, but
Okay. Let me ask, do you typically, when you do your measurements, are they in pounds or are they in kilograms?
they're usually in kilograms.
Usually in kilograms?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that your memory is fresh. So with regards to the record, do you recall off the top of your head whether it was 35.2 kilograms or 35.2 pounds?
I don't recall.
Okay. And having a chance to look at the vital signs again, do you think that might refresh your recollection?
Sure.
Same page? Let's say, does that help? I see you nodding your head up and down. Does that help refresh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that 35.2 are those pounds or kilograms?
Pounds.
35.2 pounds. All right, thank you very much, Nurse Travers. I greatly appreciate it. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe Defense Counsel may have a few.
Okay, it doesn't seem like there was a cross. I'm surprised that their questioning for her was that shallow, especially just pointing out that Harmony was 32 pounds isn't really telling the jury that much in the sense of, you know, what is that comparable to, or is that healthy, is that not? Like, kind of what point are they trying to prove there? As we've heard so far, there has been alleged abuse of Harmony that she's endured, so presumably I would assume that their point is that she was maybe underweight and malnourished, but it definitely seemed like, I don't know, they weren't digging in that hard for the point that they were trying to get across to the jury at that point. Right now we're going to move over to the defendant's uncle. So this is Adam's uncle and Harmony's great uncle.
And spell out both your first and your last name for the record.
Kevin Lester Montgomery, KEVIN MONTGOMERY,
And Mr. Montgomery, what town are you living in now?
Malden, Mass.
How long have you lived down there?
I've been back in the area since June
June of this year?
last year,
June of last year.
23.
Of course. Sorry. And are you currently working?
I am.
What do you do for work?
I am a plumber.
And how far did you go in school?
10th grade.
How long have you been a plumber?
Roughly 3.5 years ish.
What are some of the other kind of jobs that you had before being a plumber?
Landscaping. I was in the drywall, union, roofing,
Okay.
stuff like that.
I'd like to ask, in 2019, where were you living at the first part of 2019?
2019, first part of 2019, I was living in Manchester,
And what was the street address that you were living at?
77 Guilford Street.
Who owned that home?
Excuse me?
Who owned that home? Sorry.
My mom and my ex.
And who else lived there? Let me ask, let's say in February or March of 2019, who else lived there?
So it was me, my nephew, his wife, and their kids.
And who's your nephew, sir?
Adam Montgomery,
And who was his wife at the time?
Kayla Montgomery.
I'm going to go ahead and show you States Exhibits 1 and 2. Just see if, let's just talk about States Exhibit 1 for a moment. Do you recognize States Exhibit 1?
I do.
Okay. And what is that a photograph of?
The front of the house.
Which house?
77 Guilford Street.
And what about, and with regards to that photo, did the house look that way when you were living there in 2019? And by that, I just mean where the windows are, the door is, the color.
Yes.
And now I'd like to show you States Exhibit 2 for identification purposes only. Do you recognize what that is a photo of?
I do.
What's that a photo of?
That was Harmony's room.
Where was her room, inside this house or somewhere else? Did she live with you?
Yeah, her room was across from my room inside that house.
Other than the stickers that are at the bottom here, and the photograph itself of the room and the home, are these accurate to your memory of what that room used to look like and what this home used to look like generally when you were there?
Yes.
At this point, Your Honor, I'd ask for the identifications to be stricken from States Exhibit 1 and 2.
Objection. Sorry. No, without objection. Okay, the ID is stricken. They're entered as full exhibit.
So, Mr. Montgomery, we'll go ahead.
Yes, you may.
In regards to States Exhibit 1, this is 77 Guilford Street? Is that correct?
Yes.
And let me ask you, how many residents were in the home? How big house are we talking about?
Living room on the first floor, 2 bedrooms in the back, and then like an attic that was like made over upstairs.
When you say made over upstairs, is that also used as a bedroom?
Correct.
And then, for States Exhibit 2, I believe you said before, if I got your testimony right, that this was Harmony's room. Is that right?
Yes.
The stickers on the wall, do you know what that's a sticker of?
Yes, that was Minnie Mouse.
In 2019, you said, I believe before, that you said that your nephew, Adam Montgomery, was living with you. Is that correct?
Can you speak up, please?
Yes, certainly. And let me move closer to the microphone. In 2019, I believe you testified a moment ago that you said Adam Montgomery was living with you, and he's your nephew. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And so, nephew, in terms of, so who's his father? And I would assume his father or mother is a brother or sister to you.
So his dad's my older brother, Michael.
And with regards to Adam, how long have you known Adam?
His whole life.
Were you subpoenaed to be here today to testify?
I was.
And let me ask you, do you want to be here today testifying about your nephew?
No.
When Adam came to live with you at Guilford Street, I believe you said before that he had kids with him and that he had his wife. Could you tell us what her name is?
Adam's wife?
Yes.
Kayla Montgomery.
And the kids that moved in with him there in 2019, who were they?
Um,
Do you remember their names, I should say?
I do. Could you say that question again, please?
Certainly. So when Adam and Kayla came to live with you, you said that there were kids in the home before. What were their names?
So when Adam and Kayla came in, who came with them?
Yes, exactly.
At first it was just Seamus.
Okay. And who is Seamus?
Seamus is their son.
Okay. Who came to live with you next after that? Which child came next?
I believe 2019. So I believe a baby was born somewhere, and then Harmony.
And then Harmony. So Harmony was the last child to move in?
I believe so.
Okay. We looked at a picture of Harmony's room. Where was that room in the house? Was it upstairs? Was it downstairs?
So it was downstairs at the end of the hallway on the right.
Okay. And where was your room in the home?
Right across the hall.
Where did you see Harmony spend most of her time when she was in the house? So, Mr. Montgomery, let me just restate that question for you. So the question that I had for you is that when you saw Harmony, primarily what parts of the house did you see her in? Where did she spend most of her time that you saw?
Just everywhere.
Just everywhere.
Kitchen,
Okay.
living room, just everywhere.
In July of 2019, did you stay in New Hampshire or did you go to any other state?
I lived in New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went for roughly 3 weeks to Florida.
Okay. And let me ask you about that trip to Florida. Did any other family members go with you on that trip?
My son.
Your son? Okay. And when you were in Florida, did you visit any family members?
I did all my family.
Okay. Let me ask you, sir. When you were down in Florida visiting family, tell us some of the different family members that lived down there that you saw.
So the trip was primarily to go see my mom, because my mom had some health issues. But I have several brothers. I saw them, nephews, sister, the whole family.
And I know testifying can be very difficult, so if you need a break or anything, you just let us know and let the court know, okay?
Okay.
All right. You said that you were seeing your mother and she had some health issues. What health issues did she have?
So I believe that April she had triple bypass heart surgery, and that's what the trip was based around, was going to see her.
And did you spend a lot of time with her during that July trip?
I did.
Okay. When you came back, do you remember what day you flew back into town?
Roughly the 22nd or the 23rd of July.
Okay. And I apologize. I made an assumption there, and I shouldn't do that. How did you come back to New Hampshire? Did you fly? Did you drive? Did you take a train?
We flew, James and myself.
And when you flew back, and who's James?
James is my son.
Okay. So when you flew back into town, did you fly into Manchester or into Boston or somewhere else?
Boston, Logan.
Okay. Did you come back to Manchester that same day after you got off the flight?
I did.
Okay. And did you go to visit 77 Guilford Street? Did you go home?
I did.
Let me ask you, when you got home, did you see Harmony there?
I did.
Where did you see her?
I see her standing in the kitchen.
And when you saw her in the kitchen, how did she look to you?
She had a black eye.
Can you describe it for us? How did the black eye look?
Full, like a raccoon's eye, black and blue.
Black and blue?
Yes.
And when you say full, what do you mean by full? Can you give us a good
All the
example?
way around.
All the way around. And I see just there you were pointing to your right eye. Did you see it on her right eye?
I honestly can't recall, but I think the left.
Okay. You think the left. Okay. I appreciate that for your honesty there. You said you saw her in the kitchen with this black eye?
Yes.
Okay. So when you saw her in the kitchen with this black eye, what, if anything, did you say? It's okay. Take your time.
Something along the words of, "Oh my fucking God, what did you do, Harmony?"
And who answered that question?
My nephew Adam,
Where was he?
standing right behind her.
And what did Adam say?
She didn't do anything. I bashed her around the fucking house.
Did Harmony ever say anything in response to the question, or just Adam saying, I bashed her around the fucking house?
I think just Adam.
How did Adam say this?
How did he say it?
Yes. Well, let's put it this way. Can you say it the way that he said it so that we understand?
I'm not sure. If I had to describe it to the best of my ability, it would be like a cocky son of a bitch.
Did Adam tell you why he bashed her around the house and caused the black eye?
He did.
What did he say?
He said he was in the bathroom moving his bowels, and that he put Harmony in charge to watch Declan, and when he came out, Harmony had her hands over his mouth, and I guess his lips were supposedly blue. That's what was explained.
That's what Adam explained to you?
Correct.
And after he explained that, how did he say he caused the black eye?
I bashed her around the fucking house.
Was there anybody else in the kitchen when Adam said this to you?
Just the three of us.
Just you, Adam, and Harmony.
Harmony.
Let me ask you, did you stay at your house that night?
I did.
What about the night after that?
I left the following morning.
Did you ever stay in the house after that? Overnight?
I did not.
When you heard this from Adam, who did you tell about what Adam told you and seeing the black eye? Who did you tell?
You want names?
Yes, please.
Told my mom. Told my son's mother, Christina. Told my sister, Erin. My brothers, Sean, Michael, and Richard. I told one of Adam's friends, Nick and Aaron. I told Harmony's mom, Crystal. I told Harmony's foster mom, Michelle. I think I told my sister Janine, my mother Helen. That's kind of what I remember. Could you just repeat the question again?
That's all right. I believe you answered the question.
Okay.
Let me ask, did you also make any calls to the what's called DCYF, or the Division of Children, Youth, and Families?
I did.
And the Nicholas and the Aaron that you referred to, is that Nicholas the same person as Nicholas Ahern?
Yes.
And is that Aaron the same person as Aaron Rue?
Yes.
Why did you tell all these people? Why did you call DCYF about this?
Say that again?
Yes. Why did you tell all of these people?
To get help.
Help for who?
For Harmony.
Did you ever see Harmony after that day?
I did.
When did you see her? And by when, I mean what time of year?
What time of year?
Yes. Mr. Montgomery, did you, and let me change my questions a little bit for a minute here. Did you see Harmony again in September of 2019?
I believe so.
Okay. And let me ask, on when you did see her, was it at 77 Guilford Street?
Yes.
And was that before Adam was evicted from the home?
Yes.
Did you see Harmony after they were evicted from the home?
No.
You recognize this person?
Yes.
Who is this?
That's my nephew, Adam Montgomery.
After Adam told me about do you have any further conversations with him about that incident?
I did.
And What did he say to you in that later conversation about this black eye incident?
What did he say to me in the later conversation about the black eye?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what you exactly mean.
I'm about to say, let me back up and I'll clarify. Attorneys need to ask very clear questions. So you've described for this jury about seeing Harmony's black eye and Adam telling you that he bashed her all around the fucking house. Did you talk with Adam about that black eye at a different time, at a later time?
I did.
And at that later time, what did he say about having bashed Harmony around the house?
Can I explain?
So, if we could approach for a minute, Your Honor. Talk there. Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. We just needed a minute to talk there. What I'd like to do is I'd like to ask I apologize. Let me ask a very clear question about this second conversation. When you were later speaking with Adam about this black eye incident, did he apologize to you for having hit Harmony?
Just yes or no, right?
With regards to the question, yes. Did he apologize to you? Did he say he was sorry for having hit Harmony?
Yes.
He did. Going into the fall of 2019, after the eviction, and then going into 2020, did you try to get in touch with Adam, with the defendant?
Give me the time frame again.
Yes. After the eviction, so in the fall of 2019, and going into the next January, February of 2020, and then going into the summer of 2020, did you try to get a hold of Adam?
I did.
Okay. And were you able to do so?
I got a hold of somebody on Facebook.
Okay. But what about Adam?
It's hard to remember.
Well, if I can withdraw that question, Your Honor, I'll ask a different question. With regards to that, you said you got a hold of somebody on Facebook. Were you able to go into a conversation on Facebook, or were you ever blocked on Facebook?
Summer of 2020, correct?
Yep, fall of 2019 into the summer of 2020.
Right. Pandemic happened in 2020, right?
Yes, sir.
Like March, right? So that's like my first summer in Florida. Yes, I got. I believe I got in touch with someone on Kayla's account through Facebook Messenger that summer.
What about with one of Adam's accounts?
No, I think it was blocked.
right, so Mr. Montgomery, I just have one other quick set of questions for you. And thank you for being patient with me today while I made sure that I was asking the correct questions of you. With regards to what you've talked about for us, one thing, and I'm sure you may be asked about this in a moment, so I'd like to save people some time now. Have you been convicted of 2 felonies out of this court within the last 10 years?
Yes.
And was one of those a conviction in 2015 for being a felon in possession of a weapon?
Yes.
And was one of those a conviction in 2016 for a theft by unauthorized taking?
Yes.
Okay. And from those, have you completed your sentence that was there, and those are all finished now at this point?
Yes. I do. It's Harmony.
I believe you said your recollection was that it was moved from the left eye that you saw blackened.
I believe so.
I have no further questions from Mr. McDonald. Thank you very much for your time. I believe that that's another small.
Good afternoon, Mr. Montgomery. Are you able to hear me okay?
Right now, yes.
Let me know if you can. My name is Jamie Brooks, and I represent Adam, okay? I'll also ask you some questions, but I'll try to be fairly quick. You indicated that you returned to the Guilford Street address on the 22nd of July, 2019?
I believe I said the 22nd or the 23rd.
One or the other. Could have been the 22nd, could have been the 23rd.
Excuse me?
So it would be either the 22nd or the 23rd of July that you were there?
Correct.
And you ended up having a conversation with Adam. Correct?
Yes.
And this conversation included Adam, yourself, and Harmony in the kitchen, right?
Say that again?
The conversation took place in the kitchen?
Correct.
Harmony was there, right?
Yes.
You were there.
Yes.
Adam was there.
Correct. Yes.
Nobody else to your recollection was there.
No.
No other adult was within earshot of this conversation as far as you knew?
No.
And the conversation was prompted because you saw a black eye on Harmony.
Correct.
You indicated that Adam said that she didn't do anything.
Correct.
In response to your question of, oh my God, what happened? He said,
oh my God, what the fuck did you do? I think I said.
Okay. And as part of this conversation, Adam talked about finding Harmony, suffocating Declan.
Hands over the mouth, I stated.
And with the hands over the mouth, Declan was turning blue.
Lips were blue. is
Lips were
what
blue.
I recollect.
5 months old at the time?
Declan, roughly something like that, yeah.
You said that he made a comment and sounded cocky?
Yes.
Also could have been sarcasm?
Not in my opinion, if that's what you're asking.
But he did express concern regarding Declan and the blue lips.
Yes.
You later made a report to DCYF.
Yes.
That report was approximately a week later.
Correct.
Would July 29th of 2022, I'm sorry, July 29 of 2019, would that sound correct to you?
Roughly about a weekish later, 7-8 days or something. Is that what? Yeah, approximate, I guess. It's going back a while.
Roughly 7 to 8 days, and this was after you had returned to Florida?
After I was back in
sorry,
New Hampshire, right? Is that what you're asking? After I came home?
Right. But
yes.
You didn't go back you didn't stay at the house, except for that one night. Did you go back to Florida, or did you go back to Massachusetts?
No, I went to Massachusetts.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. I don't have anything further.
That was a tough testimony to get through. This poor guy, you know, him being the uncle and being so close and hearing the horrific things that Adam has said out loud to him. You know, you can see this guy's guilt in that he likely feels that, you know, there might have been something more he could have done. And it's not that he didn't try at all, but, you know, there is also only so much he can do as being the uncle of Adam, you know, and Harmony being Adam's child. So, you know, you can tell he just really holds on to a lot still. So that was really hard to watch him try to struggle through that. Now we are going to move on to a friend that has known Adam since he was about 18 years old. This testimony that we'll see is a pretty short one as well, similar to the nurse one.
What city and state do you live in?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
How long have you lived in Manchester?
My entire life.
How old are you?
34.
Mr. Ahern, what do you do for a living?
I do construction, metal framing, drywall.
Framing and drywall?
Yeah.
How long have you done that?
Since I was like 20.
It's 14 years?
Yeah, a long time.
What's the highest level of education you've obtained?
I think it was 11th grade.
And did you get your GED?
No, I went right into the trade.
Do you know someone named Adam Montgomery, Mr. Ahern?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Mr. Ahern, I'm showing you what's been published as State's Exhibit 101.
Yes.
Do you recognize that individual?
Yes, that's Adam Montgomery.
And how long have you known Mr. Montgomery?
I want to say since I was like 18. So, yeah, a long time.
Are you aware of him having any children?
Yeah, I know he has a couple.
Are you aware of a daughter?
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever seen his daughter?
Yes, once.
Do you know her name?
Harmony.
What can you tell us about that one time that you saw Harmony?
She came out of the house and she had marks on her face, which was a black eye.
Okay, and so let's unpack that a little bit. When you say she came out of the house, what house did she come out of?
I think it was Guilford Street, yeah.
Is that the house that she lived in? Was that your understanding?
Yes, that's where they lived.
So were you visiting the defendant when you
Yes.
saw Harmony?
Yes.
And what were you doing when Harmony came out of the house?
Just sitting out front talking to Adam.
What time of year was this?
Summertime, I want to say around July.
Do you remember what year?
I think it was 2019.
And let's talk about that injury that you saw. What can you tell the jury about it?
It was a pretty severe injury. At the time, I questioned Adam, what happened, and he told me that she acquired it during a soccer accident. Yeah.
When you say severe injury, what did you see? Can you explain to this jury what made it severe in your opinion?
Her eyes were blackened. Yeah, it was pretty intense in the moment. Yeah.
Was it concerning to you?
It was, but he told me that she acquired it during a soccer accident. I have kids, so I understand, accidents happen. So.
Do you know someone named Kevin Montgomery?
Yes.
At some point after you saw that injury to Harmony, did you have a conversation with Kevin?
Yes, he contacted me.
And I'm not asking you for this substance, just whether or not.
Yes.
And you said he contacted you, is that right?
Yes.
When Harmony came out of the house, about how long did you see her for?
Maybe 4 seconds. It was quick.
Why was it quick?
Because he told her to go back inside.
And sorry, when you say he told her to go back inside.
Sorry, Adam Montgomery told her to go back inside.
Can you tell the jury how he told her to get back inside?
He was, Adam was forcive. He just, basically told her to go in, and he kind of walked her up to the door and shut it.
About how old was Harmony when you saw her that day?
I want to say maybe 5, something like that. 5.
How would you describe her when you saw her come out for those 4 seconds?
She was just standing there, just looking. No real body movement, just standing there.
And when the defendant forcefully told her to go back inside, did she obey?
Yes.
If I could have just a moment.
Yes.
No additional questions, Your Honor.
Counsel?
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step down.
And we'd ask that this witness be excused, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No.
You may be excused.
Alrighty, we are going to close out today with a social worker that has dealt with the Montgomerys in the past.
I was employed.
Prior to September 2021, how were you employed?
I was employed as a CPSW, a Child Protective Service worker with the state of New Hampshire for DCYF.
And that acronym that you just gave, CPSW, can you tell the jurors what that means?
Yes, Child Protective Service worker.
How long did you work for DCYF?
Approximately 10 years.
And in your capacity as a caseworker for DCYF, did you have occasion to interact with someone named Adam Montgomery?
I did.
And calling your attention specifically to 2019, the summer of 2019, did you receive a report regarding Adam Montgomery?
I did.
Are you aware of whether or not he had children?
Not when I first received the report.
Was the report regarding one of his children?
Yes.
Which child was that?
Specifically, it was Harmony.
Harmony Montgomery.
I'm sorry, Harmony Montgomery.
And was that report regarding an injury to Harmony Montgomery?
Yes.
Do you know who made that initial report?
I do not. It was anonymous.
Do you remember specifically when that report was made?
It was July of 2019, towards the end of the month. Specifically, it was either the 19th or the 29th.
Would looking at your report refresh your recollection?
Yes.
So I'm showing you space 2082.
Yes, July 29th, 2019.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, so if you could just turn that over. Let's face down. There.
And sir, I'm just going to ask you to keep your voice up so all the jurors can hear you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And can you tell us that date again? I missed it.
July 29th, 2019.
And what did you do after your involvement on that call began?
I apologize. Could you be more specific?
So you got a report. What did you do after you received that report?
When I received the report, I initiated trying to make contact with the family in order to see them, see the family, see the children, ascertain safety.
And is that generally what you do, or is that what you did in this specific case?
Generally, that was the standard practice.
In this specific case, though, what did you do?
Specifically, tried to initiate contact. I ended up going out to the listed address in an effort to see the family.
Do you recall what that address was?
I believe it was 77 Guilford Street or Guilford Ave.
Tell us about that trip out to the 77 Guilford Street or Ave.
So I drove to the location, and as I pulled up the location, I noticed a person who I recognized as Adam Montgomery getting into a car.
And let me stop you there.
Yes.
Yes?
So, Mr. Soros, I'm going to show you what's been admitted and previously published. It's as State's Exhibit 101.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the individual that's depicted there?
I do. That's Adam Montgomery.
So, when you said that you recognized the individual getting into a car, I believe?
Yes.
That was this Adam Montgomery?
It was.
Was anyone else present with him as he was getting into that vehicle?
There was a young girl, small girl.
That interaction, your observation of the defendant, Adam Montgomery, and the small girl who was with him, how long was that?
Not very long. Basically, as I was pulling up and getting ready to park, they were getting into the vehicle, and I can't remember exactly how far away I was, 30, 40 feet or so, when I was parking my car, and I observed them getting into the vehicle.
So you're parking your vehicle. Were you outside of your vehicle when you saw him, or were you still inside your vehicle?
I was still inside my vehicle.
And this young girl that you saw with the defendant, what was she doing?
Nothing really in particular, just, getting into the vehicle, her father helping her into the vehicle. Excuse me. I didn't know if it was her father at the time. The person, Adam, helping her into the vehicle.
Specifically with respect to that small female that you saw, how long were you able to observe her for before she got into the vehicle?
Maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Not a long period of time.
And this was from 30 to 40 feet away?
Correct.
I want to back up for just a moment. The child that you were going to see, it was a female, is that right?
Yes.
How long, sorry, let me strike that. Were you able to clearly see the child when you were in your car there?
I guess as clearly as I could from that distance.
Did you observe anything about the child other than her gender?
No, just it literally just looked like a small child, a female, getting into the car with someone.
How long were they parked there for before they drove away?
Not long. She got into the car. He then got into the car, and they drove away.
And you said the distance already, but was this on a public road, or were they in a driveway or something else?
Public road. They were parked on the side of the road in front of the house that I was going to.
During that home visit, did you interact with a child named Harmony Montgomery?
No.
Why not?
Aside from seeing her at that home visit, because she had left. She was the little girl that got into the car.
Is that something that you learned that day or at a later time?
That day.
While you were at the home attempting to make contact with Harmony, was there anything that drew your attention away as you were approaching the home?
Anything that drew my attention away?
Yes.
Nothing in particular.
Do you recall?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you recall noting that there was a loud dog that was barking at you?
Yes. There was a loud dog, a large dog, barking at me from the property.
And was that before or after the defendant drove away with this young female?
I believe it was after. It was after they left. I approached the property.
So you were unsuccessful in seeing Harmony Montgomery that day?
Correct.
Did you attempt to follow up with the defendant?
I did.
Tell us about those attempts.
That was initiating a phone call and speaking with Adam and trying to arrange a home visit in which I could actually come and see and speak with Harmony.
When were those attempts? You mentioned a phone call. When was that phone call?
I think I would have to look at my notes to refresh my memory, but I believe it was later that day that I spoke with Adam on the phone.
Please do, if you believe that would refresh your recollection.
Yes, it was later that day.
Did you also attempt to call the defendant on August 1st?
I again would have to refer to my notes.
Please do.
I did.
Did you speak to the defendant on August 1st?
I did.
What, if anything, did he tell you about Harmony's condition?
I would have to, again, look at my notes for details.
Please do. And just look up when your memory's been refreshed. Do you recall what, if anything, the defendant told you about Harmony's condition when you spoke to him on August 1st?
The contact I just reviewed, I was speaking to him about setting up a home visit and that he had one of his children was not feeling well and he needed to take him to be seen.
And
So
go ahead.
So we would not be able to have a home visit, and it would have to be rescheduled.
And during that conversation, did he also tell you that he believed that Harmony had the same illness as his other child?
That I don't remember. I don't recall.
Do you think that that reviewing your notes would refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Please do. And Mr. Soros, is your memory refreshed?
Yes. And Adam did say that he believed Harmony now had the same illness or condition that his other child had.
That again was on August 1st.
Yes.
So 2 days after you went out?
Correct.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face with Harmony Montgomery?
Could you ask me that again? I'm sorry.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face interaction with Harmony Montgomery?
My response, as far as my following up with the report.
Correct.
I did.
When was that?
I believe it was about a week later. The exact date, I don't remember.
Do you think that reviewing your report would refresh your recollection with respect to the date?
Yes.
Can you please do so?
Yes, it was August 7th, approximately a week later.
What, if anything, did you observe about Harmony's physical appearance when you saw her on August 7th?
Overall, excuse me, overall, she seemed...
So let me strike that question.
Yes.
Specifically, did you notice any markings or injury to her face?
I did notice a small red mark under one of her eyes and some redness with discoloration in the eye that was closest to that.
Did the defendant tell you anything regarding how that injury occurred?
He did. He said that he had bought the kids, two younger children, he bought the kids like foam swords or lightsabers, and that they were playing with them, and that Harmony was struck in the face, in the eye, and that's how she got that mark.
So, Mr. Soros, I want to switch gears, and I want to discuss January of 2020. On January 8th of 2020, did you make contact with the defendant?
I believe so. I would like to review my contacts, please.
I'm sorry, could you speak a little more loudly?
Yes, ma'am.
And repeat the answer to that question?
I do remember receiving a report then, and I don't remember the exact date and whether I made contact or not.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at your report?
Yes. If may I?
In just a moment,
Yeah.
So feel free to review that and just look up when you're
Yes, it was January 8th, 2020.
And how did that communication occur?
I apologize, meaning how did I contact them?
Yes.
Phone.
You spoke to him on the phone?
Yes.
And what, if anything, during that conversation did he say about Harmony Montgomery?
I believe it was that conversation. I would have to check my notes to make sure because I can't remember if it was that conversation or later when meeting with him that he had told me that Harmony was now living with her biological mother.
Do you recall the specifics of what he said about how she came to be with her biological mother?
He had said that she was having visits with her mother, and again, I'd have to probably look at my notes again, but I believe due to their unstable housing situation that Harmony ended up staying with her mom.
Just in terms of the timeline, a report came in on July 29th of 2019 regarding Harmony, correct?
Correct.
And specifically, it was that Adam had caused a black eye.
That was in the report. Someone referred, whomever it was that made the report referred to it as a shiner, which I interpret as a black eye.
And the report was made anonymously, but you knew the person to be Kevin Montgomery?
I did learn that later on.
So that day you went to the residence, the 29th.
Yes.
But it was a very fleeting encounter. Adam and Harmony were getting in a vehicle as you were arriving.
Correct.
So you observed Harmony for all of 10 seconds, right?
Thereabouts, yeah.
30, 40 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
You were in your car still at the time.
Yes.
But you did have a longer visit approximately a week later, correct?
Yes.
That was August 7th?
Yes.
You went inside the residence?
I did.
And it sounds like you spoke with Adam, but you also spoke with Harmony.
I did.
Your general or preferred practice is to try and meet with the kid alone, correct?
Correct.
But that doesn't always happen.
Correct.
Sometimes there is a parent there.
Sometimes there's a parent there.
Or in the next room.
Or in the next room.
And you don't have any specific recollection regarding whether anybody was present when you spoke with Harmony?
I don't recall that.
But you were able to visually see Harmony, right?
Yes.
And you noticed a little bit of red in her right eye?
I can't remember if it was a right or left eye, but it was one of the eyes.
In one eye. There was some redness?
Yes.
Faded bruising as well?
Yeah, I refer to it as like a faint red mark and then some redness in the eye.
Harmony had her glasses, right?
She did.
She agreed to remove them, right?
Yes.
So that you could look at her.
Yes.
And there's a standard set of questions you ask under these circumstances, right?
I do. I did.
So again, without indicating what the answer was, you would obviously ask her what had happened.
Yes.
And other questions regarding her general safety.
Yes.
Aside from the redness in her eye and the faded bruising, you did not observe anything else concerning regarding Harmony's person or well-being?
I did not.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Alrighty, that wraps up the testimony of this social worker. You know, we're starting to get a better full-rounded picture kind of what people have experienced in regards to Harmony's abuse and things like that. So it's starting to definitely add up and stack against Adam so far. Again, the defense's argument that we heard yesterday in their opening statement is putting more of the blame on his wife, Kayla, or his wife at the time, Kayla. So we'll see kind of where this evidence is aiming and pointing. You know, I'm sure we'll hear some in the next few days about where she was kept, how she was kept, and it aligning more with what Adam has done. So we will see as we go throughout this trial where the evidence is pointing. So as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I will see you guys on Thursday to continue this trial. Have a fantastic rest of your day as always, and I'll see you next time.